Hey, YouTube! Oh, God, that doesn't work either. Yeah, good start to the video. Yes, so here is my Hofner Colorama 1962, which I had a theory there. Or, firstly, a couple of problems with it. One, the bridge pickup doesn't work, so I think I'm gonna get it rewound. You know who? A certain Mr. Letts is getting a message about doing it. Yeah, so in theory, I should put it back in again so it looks right, but it's only the one pickup working. The controls for these are mental, so basically I've just bypassed all the controls and I've got a volume control on one pickup. I just want to make sure it works before I spend any time on it. The nut is, it's someone's been at it. I thought had really terrible intonation issues, whereas like see the intonation, like it's meant to be on the 12th fret, it was basically on the 13th fret, perfectly intoned on the 13th fret. And I was like, what the? Is there something wrong with this nut? Because it does look, it's like about a millimetre shy. I'm going to shave it down. It's about a millimetre too close to the first fret, if you know what I mean. I've measured it out. This is a Gibson scale neck. But that's where it comes in. Like, see where the bridge is? See that mark there? That's where the bridge attaches to the guitar. It's currently just sitting floating. But it's that far off from being intoned. And I just... It's ballpark. It's not fixed, but... So, what I was thinking there was, this is not the neck from this guitar. There's a little bit of it says Hofner here, and there's something else there that I can't quite make out. I'll try and hold it up to the camera and hold it still. If I can't make it out, I know that anyone else can. But if you know what it says, you might be able to read it. Most difficult to do this backwards. There, see, it says Hofner, and then it says, kind of looks like it. Some duet, something like that. See, what I think might have happened here, but the reason I stuttered at the start of the video is, I know this is 1962 because of the layout, the type of bridge, the fact it's got red vinyl on it. Red vinyl and white piping. Red vinyl actually in good condition. Currently still got the late 70s Paul Stanley sticker on the back. Quite like it. Only because it's so inappropriate for this guitar. You know, if it'd been Pink Floyd or something, it'd be off. Or some cool band. No, it's Paul Stanley. Yeah, so that's what I think. I think if this is a Gibson scale neck and it's meant to be a Fender scale neck, then that would explain the bridge being here instead of here. Similar thing if you look at, it's not really that blatantly obvious with those two, but if you look at the Kraken, that's a Gibson scale neck. So if you look at it, that's a much, you know, the bridge is much closer to the neck than it is on a normal Telecaster, the actual saddles. It doesn't look that different between those two there because that's a much bigger bridge, but trust me, it is, and it's maybe about that different. Yeah. So I mean, but the thing is, it's obviously a good guitar. It plays lovely. I'm just sitting here wondering when this was rejuvenated. At some point when somebody did this nut. It wasn't recently. I'm wondering if the last time this guitar played an in-tune chord could have been any time. I thought the frets were really knackered, but they were just really rusty. Like, they're not very high frets, but the frets, I don't know if this guitar's ever been a playable guitar. There's a little bit of fretwear around about the cowboy chords because it wasn't that out of tune. You know, obviously you're talking, instead of the 12th fret being there, it's that far out. So the 12th fret would have been that note. So I mean, you're not playing any chords. First three notes you kind of get away with. I mean, ideal, that's it, just touching it up against the scratch plate. You know, a wee bit of Dremlin, I could probably get it note on. It's not far off. This it's kind of as good as a Telecaster. It's actually got a sort of permanently compensated bridge on it. Well, the one thing is really annoying me right now is the fact it doesn't have dots on the edge of the fingerboard, which means that's why I keep looking over it like a beginner, trying to see where my fingers are. Oh, I could just use that actually. Got a Bigsby. Woo! I'm scared to tighten that bolt up anymore. There's quite a lot of movement in this before it engages, and this bolt seems to be as tight as it goes and it doesn't untighten. I don't want to snap it. But it's got a bit of a wibble. Be brutal with it. And up the way. Is it still in tune? Slight issues with that high E string. You know, this is it. This is me just stuck it together just to see. Just to make sure the actual concept was going to work. Oh, it's in tune. Maybe just actually, this is the one that only had 3 strings on it, isn't it? This is one with the twisted neck. This is like when I was buying it, it was like the neck's fucking like that. But it had the 3 fat strings on it, and it were really tightly tuned. And it seemed to, as soon as I took the strings off it, go back to being sort of straight. It's not terrible. So there you go. It's straightened out. Same thing happened with that white Westfield Les Paul. It was like the neck was like a total banana. Looking at it, and it was like the strings were just pure tightened up. Possibly for like 20 or 40 or 50 years, just pulling it, and as soon as I let go, the neck's gone, and gone back to being sort of when it should be. Why is there no sound? Because I've left the tuner on. Does it, Muff? Play one of the, but this is probably the earliest song I can play. And as I walk along, I wonder, like it's 62, when our love was strong. And as I still walk on, I think of being together while our hearts were young. Great party song, this. Obviously not sang that since my voice broke. Why? She ran away, and I wonder what she was saying. My little runaway, run, 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 run away, run, 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 run away. didn't get distortion in 1962 though, so I mean this is all new stuff. This isn't a shit guitar. It kind of looks it. It's kind of funny. It's got that. It's got. Well, it's like the same thing. You know those the Jack White guitar. This would be the British version of those airlines, right down to the similar colour scheme. But I mean, see the fact that it's covered in vinyl. It doesn't really have any dents or scratches in it because the vinyl's protected it, like proper 60s red vinyl. I mean, imagine this was orange. Yeah, and the neck is actually pretty good. The nut is really, really messy. I'm not really sure. It's basically, currently I'm just wanting to get the thing to play, but aesthetically the nut looks terrible. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of like it's had something else wedged in and then it's been altered. But and I was even looking at the idea of, you know, like this white piping is kind of coming off, and apparently you can unscrew the strap button and then take out the white piping and then kind of heat it up and then put it back in again. But I'm kind of tempted just to leave it as it is rather than trying to restore it. No, that might be left. Maybe do that at some point. It's not going to get any worse. So, I mean, might as well just leave it the way it is. I'm going to have to try and get that red pen off the outside of the headstock. I started with a bit of isopropyl alcohol there and got most of it off this side. So once that red stripe's gone, it'll make a big difference. And I need to put the other pickup back in again, even if I can't find someone to rewind it because it looks shit missing. There's a really annoying slight dent there on the 6th fret, and it's the only thing. It kind of looks like a fret marking. So every time you're like that, see if that had been on the 5th fret or the 7th fret, I wouldn't need fret markings. It's because it's on the 6th. So I've got to remember to, there's the one, my one reference point, but it's not one of the things you think it is. It's either one fret up or one fret lower where it should be. But I mean, it sounds alright. It sounds great, actually. Apart from that thin string, I think it just needs a little bit more action. I think the bridge is meant to have like I don't know, what thumb wheels on it because it's got like a threaded post that sits up. So I think it's meant to have a thing. You know, it's like a 5p piece with a threaded hole drilled through the middle of it on it to raise it up a little bit because it's sitting flush just now. There's no adjustment in height. It's just sitting. You just put it on top of the prongs, but they're threaded. So I think maybe just a slightly higher action, or maybe just have a wee look at the frets. There might be actual damage or something. I've not even looked at them. Annoyingly, I've kind of given them a clean up to the 12, but these are all just still totally black, corroded. But I'm so pleased it's actually playing. Really enjoying it. I'd be totally happy with this if this had just been the one pickup version, but it's the 2 pickup one, so I need to get the other pickup working. Also, this control panel does crazy stuff. So I'm going to do a wee bit of research to see if I can find out what this neck's from, or maybe that bridge had just been put in the wrong place with a screw through the middle of it, but it's only held on with one screw, but there's a hole for the screw, and there's no mark here. I mean, it's so close, it's pretty much perfectly intoned, but I'd have no issue just putting a pickup back in again. And it's a Gibson scale one. That's even more rarer than a Fender. But it's obviously got a story, and a long story. And it's not been, the neck's not been replaced by like a modern neck. The neck, going back to the very start, where I was like, yeah. So I looked up the number that's stamped on the back of the headstock, and it comes in as a Futurama from 1962, which is what this guitar is. So what's with the bridge being that far away from where it's meant to be? And was it always like that? Was it just one of those things where it's like there was a major... It's a major flaw. This isn't a toy guitar. This would have been relatively expensive. It's quite good. It's not... It's cheap, but it's not. It's well built. It's German. You know what I mean? It's like... and it does. I mean, the vinyl, it just looks fucking great. It looks like a reissue or something. It's only when you see it up close, you just go, oh my god, look at the lacquer cracking and all that. From the 60s. Imagine this was a Fender. But I mean, as a whole, it's got something. It's got the same thing that my pal Ronnie's one had. That's the only reason I even looked at this. I just looked at his one and went, oh god, it's been another one of those crap things. But it's like, kind of like Dan Electro. It's not. It's better. It's more guitar than a Dan Electro is, but not a million miles away in terms of sort of quite simple and a little bit, designing their own parts that are a little bit simpler than Fender parts or Gibson parts. But they're there. The compensated bridge seems to work. Good balance between all the pickups. The pickups aren't even routed into the body. They're sitting flat on top of the body, so you've got no height adjustment in the pickups. That's the height the pickup is. Would you like another height, sir? Well, that's the height the pickup is. But it's a good pickup. So I'm getting a wee bit sidetracked again. And with the thing, this I'm going to try, once I get the pickups working, I'm going to probably try and make it do what it's originally meant to do, which is a bit of a shit thing. It's got like a tone cap that's permanently on. You can either have a permanent high pass filter or a permanent tone cap, or them both off. And you've got a volume for each pickup. You can't have either pickup on its own without having like a high pass filter or a low pass filter on. It doesn't do the sound you get now. It doesn't do this sound. So I was thinking it'd be quite cool to have a push-pull pot in there, and so that if I pull it up, it makes it like normal guitar. You get like a volume, a pickup selector, a volume, 2 on switches, and I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I quite fancy it, and a tone kind of thing, rather than being, you just balance these two and put these 2 switches, and you kind of turn off the 2 switches that say on and off, turn off pickups, so the volume controls, but then you've got an off switch. Also, look at the spike on the end of that. I mean, that's like, imagine doing a aha. Wow, these are not polished frets. Very possibly the first time that note has ever been played on this guitar, and it's from 1962, so we're cutting in at 62, that's 63 years old. I need to play a Beatles song on this next year. When I get older. Yeah, that surprisingly, that's not one of the Beatles songs I've ever played, like messing about. It's like, you're happy, Lyn's a Beatles song. Which one? When I'm 64. Did you? Oh, it's so annoying having that. I need to put like a couple of wee white specks on it. I think my main message would be not all of these 60s kind of toy looking. You go, oh, I used to get them in Woolworths. Guitars are shit. This is actually a well put together guitar. Aside from the problem, I'm going to have to look into this neck thing, and the pickup doesn't work. I mean, it's 63 years old. And so's the neck. So the neck must be from the same year, but from a different guitar. Exciting stuff. I don't know. I might just put this out now. I'm going to do a live stream tonight, but I've got too many videos queuing up. I'll just put this out now, and then we can all look it up and then talk about it on the live stream tonight. How about that? See you at 8 o'clock. Rock on.